Hey up everybody, it's Johnny P, the Stonegate Success Coach. As promised, I thought I would pass on some of my thoughts and feeling. I know it's been a while, but something came to mind that I've wanted to really share with you guys. And this is something that I did yesterday. I had a bit of a thinking day yesterday. So what I actually do sometimes is I just turn my phone off and I just go on what's called an isolation walk, or find a place just to go and do some thinking. And then I started thinking about, well, what do we think about when we want to think? That's a weird question I started to ask myself, and that's what it actually came down to. It was questions. Questions help us to think, but a lot of the time, and me included, is what are the questions that I need to ask? And I always believe life asks us many questions. If we think of that one straight away, what questions does life ask us? And you could start writing that down on your promise pad. But I started to think about this and go, well, actually, when I spend some time on my own and do some thinking, and this skill of reflection is really important, because I really think a lot of the time is we've got so many distractions in this world with technology and everything else, and expectations of ourselves and others, and just so many distractions. We're starting to erode our thinking, and especially our attention. So what I've really started to do is just come up with a process around thinking, and I started to ask myself questions. So the questions that are on my pad at the front, always at the front of my pad, that help me think are, first of all, I ask what's important to me. And this word important, again, it's a word, I love words, but when you make something important, what does that mean in your world? And I started to think about importance around consequences if I don't do these things, or the consequences if I do these things. So first of all, what's important to me? So what domains in my life are important? So obviously my health and fitness, my psychological well-being, the relationships that I've got with my mum and my family. And there's lots of things about my own personal progression, lots of different things. So straight away you could start with that question, what's truly important to me? Really important. And then the next question I've got is, what am I not facing that needs to be fixed? So on my pad yesterday, again, my eating habits came up, and I started to just rationalise why I was eating loads of crap food again, because I've been working and I'm tired. So that made me look at the things that I'm not facing that need to be fixed, or I want to fix, not need to. So again, that started me thinking and planning about actually how can I approach that to be fixed. What guides my behaviours? I've done a lot of work on this around principles, these things that we can call on for the rest of our lives that guide us. Again, it's not this magic blue pill that I talk about, but what principles really guide my behaviours? So one principle is, look after myself like I really matter. Another principle is to be a kind person, try to help people. And again, thinking through that got me thinking about, okay, so what's the behaviours that then link into that question? And then the last one, and this has taken me a while to really understand, is what 3 values do I live by? And values, again, is a word, and what does it mean? And I've searched for this quite a lot, because we like to use this word values. We use it in our own lives, and we use it in business world. Let's live by these values. But I really just think it's the tendencies that we bring to our behaviour. So I'm very much live for the value of being respectful. Showing people respect. I think it's a key value that really, really important to me. So behind that is, okay, so what are the behaviours that actually link to that value? And again, that becomes my guidance. So yeah, it was interesting. I just wanted to share this with you about thinking. Ask yourself, when's the last time you really sat and started to really think about the important questions? Because sometimes when I sit there and I'm having that reflective time, and I haven't got questions, I just sort of drift off everywhere, and I actually then think, well, actually, the last 20 minutes, what have I thought about, and has it added really any benefit to me or the others around me? And I get that, because the mind's not used to thinking, because a lot of time we don't know how to. So give it a question. But then again, what questions do we ask ourselves? And there's millions of questions out there, and there's a whole personal development industry based on questions. But there's some questions that I ask myself, and they've been on my promise pad for a long time, and just going off and taking that isolation time, turning off all technology and just going away and thinking, and then from that putting a plan together was really important. And again, it just gives you some clarity, some direction. I know where I'm going now for the next couple of weeks. Now I've had this time to think, and it's not easy. It takes energy, it takes concentration, takes attention to think, and we might not think it's important. And again, that's up to you, not making any judgments or comparisons. But if you don't think thinking's important, that's cool, just carry on, it's not an issue at all. But if you started to think, okay, yeah, what do I think about when I'm thinking, or when is the last time I really thought about my life and really wrote some things down and captured it, then maybe there is an opportunity there to grab a bit of paper and start asking yourself some questions and formulate a habit around thinking, because it's really powerful. It's a really powerful skill, and it can I passionately believe it can really determine our future success if we started really thinking about ourselves and maybe then thinking about the others around us. Anyway, look, have an amazing day. That was just on my mind, and I wanted to articulate that to you. You know me, I'm sharing everything with you guys. I don't know if it helps or not. If it doesn't, not a problem at all. But yeah, maybe grab a pad, ask yourself those questions, sit and think, have no distractions. That's the key thing. That's what I've learned over time, is don't have any distractions, don't have the television on, don't have the phone. Just go off with the intention of doing some personal thinking, and use those 4 or 5 questions to start helping you. And maybe you don't come up with the answers straight away, it's not a problem. The key thing is you've started the skill of thinking and you've got some questions. And then maybe ask yourself, okay, what other questions do I want to ask? What is life asking me for questions? What does my future bring, etc., etc. And it might really help. All right, look, speak to you soon. Take care for now.